Hello there, everybody there in YouTube land. This is the Albert Drago back again with another video. This is What If Deku Had Ichigo's Powers Part 5. Part 4 was done by Deku Having Radiation 1997 on his channel. I'll leave that in the description below. And in that video, he had described how Deku went through his Zanpakuto trial. Hell, in order to awaken his Zanpakuto. Silver Phoenix. I was going to do it in Japanese, but I decided not to. And yeah, Deku had saved Momo again, along with Jiro and Denki from that electric guy, after saving a bunch of other people from their villains and the Nomu. Yeah, he burned the Nomu into piles of ashes because of Silver Phoenix. Yeah, and in the midst of all the commotion, a Soul Reaper who was called to that town in order to keep an eye out for something, had decided to drop by to examine the situation that was going on. Ichigo Kurosaki, who had become a Soul Reaper captain during the years upon years that he's been dead. Yeah. And Deku had passed out and had awakened in the hospital 3 days later. And Deku's parents were there when he woke up, along with the head captain and Ichigo. Deku's mother tells Deku that she was a member of Ichigo's squad and had left the Soul Society after falling in love with his Quincy father. And the whole thing was it was a whole mess of trouble for them to actually do this. And everyone be okay with it. Yeah. And the head captain had come to observe Deku in order to decide whether or not to take action. Take certain actions. And Yamamoto decided that if Deku was could be a helpful resource, a helpful source of, yeah, just someone to help around and not just do his thing. Yeah, just help around with some of the hollows and occasional thingamabobs that goes on. Sorry. It's raining. My train of thought's kind of slow today. Sorry. And Deku learning about more of his mother's Soul Reaper side and more of his parents' past became intriguing. And the head captain decided to leave, and Ichigo had decided to leave. Now, Yamamoto went back to the Soul Society, but Ichigo have to continue on with his job of observing hollow activity around in the Japan area. And Deku's parents began to smile gleamingly at each other, and then smiled at Deku, telling him that he had a visitor and that they were leaving for a little while so they could have some alone time. Deku is confused by this, and he is not sure who could be visiting him. When his parents leave, he sees that Momo Yarozu had walked in through the door, and she had come to check up on him for the past couple of days, hoping that he'd wake up. And she had finally gathered up the courage to tell Deku one thing. She confessed to Deku that she's had feelings for him ever since he had tried to save her from the sludge villain. And Deku is blushing like mad at this, because he has never been confessed to a girl before, because he's been quirkless most of his life. Everyone pretty much used him as a punching bag. And now that a girl's confessed to him, he doesn't know what to do. They're both red as tomatoes or cherries, whichever one you prefer. Cherry tomatoes. Anyway. And they decided to start going out for a bit. And Momo had told Deku that they had gotten 3 weeks off of school, 2 weeks off of school, in order for the school to analyze the situation to see what the heck happened. And during those times, Deku had gone on a couple of dates with Momo. Oh, and did some training to help with his Zanpakuto. He decided... excuse me, sorry. He had decided to meditate a while. A lot of whiles. In order to see if he could communicate with a sword. It wasn't until several days later, let's say a week later, he had managed to enter the same mindscape that he had entered during his trial with his sword. And there is when he met two figures. A shadowy figure and a white figure. The white figure had decided to tell Deku that he was his Zanpakuto. And Deku was completely shocked by this because a Zanpakuto is supposed to be a reflection of their Soul Reaper. And Deku, being the person he is completely surprised because the white figure looks and acts completely different than Deku. The Zanpakuto decides to tell him that it's not so much that a Zanpakuto is a reflection of the Soul Reaper, but more of a manifestation of the inner mind of the Soul Reaper itself. And the dark figure was due to his parents being a Quincy and a Soul Reaper, his Quincy powers had manifested into a Zanpakuto-like spirit, and has had the most connection with Deku for a while. Yeah. And Deku having to communicate with him and decided that it would be best to continue training with him. And Deku, after awakening from the mindscape, had decided to attempt manifesting his sword. He holds his hand out and pretends to actually grab something. And he starts picturing a sword, similarly to the one he saw only for a split second of the time of the USJ. And then he has to yell out the name of his Zanpakuto. And he yells, "Arise, Silver Phoenix!" And out comes a burst of white flames, in the form of a phoenix that then manifests into a blade. Yeah, I'm not sure what the blade would look like, so let's say it's just a normal katana. A normal white katana. And Deku is amazed at itself and decides to put it away before any trouble brews, because I'm sure a lot of people have seen that. And Deku had decided that he would train mostly with his Soul Reaper powers for the next couple of days. They returned to school, but here's the thing. Deku had decided to pick Momo up from the train station so they can walk to school together. Yeah, he does that. They walk to school together, they enter the school together, and they enter the classroom together. All their classmates are surprised at this, because they're holding hands, mind you. And then they had to tell their classmates that they started dating about a little over a week ago. They asked when it started, and really it's just shortly after Deku woke up from being injured. Yeah, I'm losing my train of thought, sorry. Eraserhead comes in and tells them to sit down, and tells them that they have a week of training to do before the UA Sports Festival starts. Because he believes that doing the Sports Festival right after, so close to after the USJ attack, would show that UA is still strong. Sorry. Thirsty. Anyway. And during that week, Deku had learned how to do a similar exchange between his sword and his bow. And he can't wait to use this. He's been doing some extra weight training, and let's say he can use about 10 to 12% of One for All within all this. Because, yeah. And when the day of the Sports Festival comes around, Deku is the one giving the opening speech. And he is nervous, mind you, because this is still the same Deku. He's still more confident thanks to a whole lot more of parental support during his childhood, but he's still Deku. And shakily, he says, "Welcome to the UA Sports Festival. I'm hoping that every student goes plus ultra today, because I'm going to go plus ultra myself." And after he finished his short speech, he's walking down very nervously. Momo pats him on the head, telling him that he did a good job considering he is not a public speaker. And Deku is very happy at this, and everyone who is watching them is really jealous of Deku. All the guys are jealous of Deku for having a hot girlfriend. And yeah. And Bakugo is just straight up angry because he keeps constantly being reminded that he has been inferior to Deku since the whole year began. It's the obstacle. Sorry for the cut there. My phone turned off for a second. Sorry. I don't know why. Anyway, let's get back to where I left off. Yeah. Sorry. It's the start of the obstacle course, and Deku is ready and raring to go. He decides when the announcer says, "Go!" He speeds forward with his mighty flash step or Kyaku, whatever. And when he comes across the little robots, he decides to slash them up after he manifests his white sword and starts slashing them. And then to really show off what else he can do, he decides to manifest his bow and start shooting volleys of arrows at the big robots. Yeah, and Deku then activates One for All to sprint forward full blast. And yeah, showing off what he can do. When he makes it to the chasms, he's jumping ledge to ledge, showing off his strength. His power. And he is really getting Bakugo mad because, yeah, Bakugo is pushing himself to the point where his arms are hurting every time he causes an explosion. Todoroki is basically trying to keep up with the both of them because he wasn't sure about what the heck's going on. And then Todoroki just starts thinking, I have to beat Deku in order to be number one. Because, yeah, I'm sorry I skipped over the whole declaring war thing. Anyway. Hey, Deku gets the minefield, waits for Bakugo and Todoroki to catch up. He takes his running stance, and as soon as they are of equal area, as in Deku just sprints forth with One for All, and uses kind of a mixture of Flash Step and Skywalk, let's say that, showing off how truly speedy he can be. And when he gets first place, Bakugo is in second place, but his arms are very sore. He has to go to Recovery Girl to get it fixed up. And Deku's like, never seen Bakugo push himself this hard. He must be really determined to beat me. And Todoroki is just amazed at what Deku can do. And everyone gets similar places like they get in the anime. Everyone else does. And take a break for next up, the cavalry battle, which I will end it off here because I want Deku having radiation to do this part because I think that he could do a really great job with this part. Anyway, if you like this video, or videos, yeah, if you like this compilation, collab, if you like this collab, let me know in the comments below what you think. Go to Deku Having Radiation 1997. Part 4 will be in the description below. Show him some love. See you guys later. You guys are my Plus Ultra audience. Have a nice day.